Where crimes are baked in every show, mysteries rise and truth unfolding. Ready, set, it's time to go!
I did hear Aqua on the radio the other day, and I was just, it makes me think of you, Baker.
Yeah, because I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me anywhere. Imagination, life is your creation. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Yeah. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Ooh, whoa, ooh, whoa. I'm a blonde bimbo girl in a fantasy world. Touch me here, touch me there, hanky panky. Come
Oh,
jump
Lord.
in, bimbo friend, let us do it again. Hit the town, fool around. Let's go party. You
I
can
know.
touch, you can play. If you say I'm only yours, you can touch,
I
you
don't think
can
he's okay,
play.
guys.
That's as much as I remember
That's
from.
like the whole song.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
John, 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 John. Hey, and welcome
worst.
to a little. Well, it's a little filler show because sadly Alexa's room had some 3D world things that came up, and I was so lucky that when I said that, Jamie said, "Hey, Fatso, you're still streaming. I'll come on." So,
Anything to help. My favorite person.
mm-hmm. That's funny how don't buy that act she puts on when she's on stream.
Mhm. It's not an act.
I'm so grateful, Jamie. Don't hurt me.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Danny and Sui and Dodo and Ispree and Buzzcat. My energy, it's always low. Helen from Holland. Jen, the fox. Wow. That's not what foxes say. What do the fox say, Jamie?
Bark? Do they bark?
Don't they do? Isn't it foxes they
They like
say kind of sound like kids?
don't they screech?
Yeah, I think they
Like they
scream.
scream? Yeah. I'm not gonna scream.
Who knew? Hello, ready to laugh. Well, let's see if we can make it a little. We will be talking about the Karen Reed stuff, but it's a Jamie and me show, so it might go a little bit all over the place. Hey, Laurie and Anya, and we say a lot. They do a small bark. Yeah, they do like a chip, chip, chip. Little weird one. Foxes scream like banshees. Yeah, I thought I heard that. Why have they put? I hate when StreamYard changes things. I heard that they put new. No, I heard that someone say foxes sound like kids in trouble. Hey, Peter, been a hot second or
Hey,
two.
Peter.
And first of all, Jamie, I know you love history. Do you know what happened 80 years ago?
No, what happened 80 years ago?
I told you before the show you could pull on some
Well, I'm
points and
trying to
say,
pretend.
no, pretend you know. So I'll do the, oh, you knew. Oh, I'm impressed, Jamie.
It's Liberation Day.
Well, we don't call it that because it's just another war that ended. No, today is 80 years ago since Denmark got its freedom back after 5 years of, we call them the 5 dark years. So, in celebration of that, we will tonight, well, a lot of us will be putting lights in our windows. I know Jamie loves all the weird Danish traditions. So, this one isn't weird because during the war, because back then bombers used landmarks to navigate by. They didn't have GPS. They didn't have all of the fun stuff we are talking about in this case. So we had a mandatory blackout every night. So we had these blackout.
Blackout curtains.
blackout curtains, and you would get fined or in trouble if the bad guys went around and saw light coming out. So that night, I believe it's at 2043, so 8:43 at night, we got what we call the freedom message is from BBC, where it's mentioned that Montgomery had announced that the bad guys had surrendered in Norway, Denmark, and I believe Netherlands as well. So in memory of that, we will be lighting candles in our window. We have been doing that all the time, but today's special because it's 80 years ago.
Aww.
That's so thank you so much for the British, Commonwealth, French, freedom fighters, Polish, Czechoslovakian. You came in a little late, the Yanks, but yeah, we did 6 years. You did. We'll sneak in because we're the greatest nation in the world and got surprised 2 years into a world war that there was a war going on.
What kind of lights do you put up? Is it like Christmas lights?
No, you put up like just any. I have 2 little candles up here. I can't because it's so close to my ceiling, so I won't put on. But I'll just put some. Some.
They look like little devil horns
Yeah,
when
my
you,
little
when
red
you
devil.
put up like that. You gotta go.
So we celebrate that, and actually, when I was a kid, my mom used to be the leader of the school board. So every 4th of May, we will go and put candles in every window facing the street on the school, and then light them, and to remind us that freedom isn't free, and it comes with a lot of sacrifice. So thank you for all who did it, all who still do it, and for those who will in the future. If you want to know what they sound like, listen to the sound Fox plays when someone joins a membership. Oh, I didn't know that was it. Interesting. I saw that the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester came to Denmark to commemorate the day. They did, yeah. There's so much celebrating going on, so we got the low tier of the British royals. Thank you so much, Laurie. But how were your covers? Back then, filled with straw, and Jamie would still have had trouble sleeping with them.
Oh, those dang duvet covers. They're tricky.
Yeah. I was doing a crossword. Hygge was a clue. I was so impressed with myself for knowing it. It's with an E in the end. Anything with an A in the end is Swedish. Yeah, suck it, German Painters Day.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you, Nightbot. Hey, Wicked. Don't recommend 80 birthday candles in the window. No, I have like a little candle holder with 3 spots in. I'll put them in each window. Good afternoon, Megan Florida. What up, Valhalla?
Hey, Val.
And we got an ear flap as soon as they heard Valhalla. Tell the Crossworld people. The Crossworld world has been infiltrated with Swedes, so we don't like it. Jamie, do you know who my favorite person in the whole world is?
Other than me?
Other than you.
Plevin.
Not Plevin. Other than you and other than Plevin.
Who could it be?
It's a woman I have grown to know, grown to love. Jen! Because she's a bear. Did you know that, Jamie?
Peach. She is a peach.
She's a bear mom, and she is very, very meek. She's not the type of woman who she don't take charge. She is just always sacrificing herself for her kids and her friends. So when I heard that she was doing her basketball coaching, I actually went and found pictures of her teaching these young ladies how to play basketball.
Oh boy.
This is a motivational drill she runs. um, because again, she's a bear mom, and these ladies, if they don't listen, sometimes you need a little encouraging to listen better. And she found
Is
she
that a toaster?
what?
Is that a toaster?
Yeah.
Where'd you get a toaster to throw at somebody at a basketball game?
Well, she chases them with a golf cart a bit later.
What?
You never seen that skit?
Mhm.
It's Marissa McCarthy who is being investigated for rumors that she's a little bit too violent. And when I heard
Oh,
she said, "I'm
I
a
thought
baseball," you thought it was real?
that's a real thing you found.
Jamie, look at Marissa McCarthy, and then look at the
I couldn't tell.
wonderful Jen. Jen! That woman couldn't
No, I
fill out one of
didn't.
her pants leg.
I didn't think it was her. I thought it was something you found of like a real situation.
No, it's it is something.
Oh my gosh.
Don't forget to update your thumbnail. You update your thumbnail, Valhalla. He's become oh,
Has he been
update. It's
Mandy?
because I have Alexa's room on it still. Oh,
Oh,
you misspelled it. He writes me at 2 a.m. in the morning. Did you know you misspelled your thumbnail? Why haven't I got the link so I can set up my stream? Are you getting lazy? Hey, have you tried working harder?
I
He's becoming
mean,
quite like you.
yeah. He sees it. See? He's been working with you as much as I have. He
Yeah.
understands.
Hmm. Do we have any idea who is on the stand next? Jamie, any guesses?
I did have a guess, but now I lost it because I'm just so confused on where he's going with all this. Did we talk about anybody specifically?
We haven't, and that's the thing, because can we call this trial by roundabouts? I know Americans don't know what a roundabout is, but it's something on a road.
Yeah, it's a confusing little thing that you can like.
Yeah, every time an American does that, they'll rather drive straight into a tree and just set your car on fire because you
I
don't,
would too.
you can't understand
I
that you
don't get
just
it.
have to merge into it. But it seems like he's just, because a roundabout, it's an analogy. No, little d, not. It's analogy, not. I know what you heard.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like he's waiting for the cops because he knows how bad that's going to be. I just don't know if he's going to start bringing in parts of the family yet.
But the thing is, most roundabouts have like 3, 4, 5 exits. And it just seems to me like he goes into it, starts driving around. Normally, you would have a trial that's just down the road. You will have a police officer setting up the scene. Then you'll have some family members crying. Then you'll have the technical evidence, and then you'll go to the ME or the lead investigator. This guy, it seems like he just goes in, drives out one road, then he drives out another road, then he drives back up the other road. You never know where he's going, and I think it's actually by design, because he he got such a bad case, and I think you can tell sometimes that he knows it's a really bad case.
Mhm.
He
Well, the
doesn't
only thing
seem
he's got going
sure.
for him is, I mean, I get that they're taken out of context, but the clips and just like these witnesses, like he's got to try to make them. I mean, Jen McCabe was a train wreck, but you know, he's got to get these people to be likable. And he's really got to like mask this investigation that it wasn't that big of a deal because all these witnesses are, he never went in the house. They're right. I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, they need to get him in the house. Is what that's what I've been saying the entire time. We need them to understand that he's in the house if they're gonna go with the third party culprit. And I think he kind of made some of it happen, but I think Wednesday was a wash because you sent them home with Jen saying, I hit him 1,000 times. But I think Friday he came back. What did you think of Brennan's attempt to rehabilitate her believability? It seems so weird.
It didn't help at all. And honestly, the whole everybody seems to think that she busted that door open with the federal investigation stuff, even though I don't think Bev's going to let it in.
No, that's what Sebastian asked, and I was like, she kind of did, but we also know it's Bev, so we know it's probably not going to happen. That's
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, just
It's
letting them mention it. Just say that now we can say the ARCA people were hired by the federal government, not not anybody, the defense or the Commonwealth, or obviously they're not the Commonwealth, but I don't see why that's such a problem. They don't need to know the ins and the outs because nobody knows what happened. But
Yeah, she got exposed, and he couldn't, because then you normally, if you had a good witness and you had a good case, you would get up there and say, well, he asked you about this group message. Is it normal for your family to have group messages? And but what I saw in that group message was, and you're more empathic than I am because I don't really give a shit. But there was no mention of John O'Keefe anywhere.
Oh.
There was no mention of she did it. There was no mention of, oh, how horrible that she did it and you had to tell that to the cops. All of it was, I'm mad I don't get to go to basketball. I'm sad that we don't know what they're talking about. Can you ask the news crew, the same news crew that broke the story about the video? Where did they get that from? That could be fun if they had impeached that news crew to hear where they got the news that they had had her on Ring camera.
Yeah, so I remember that. Like, none of their messages to me seemed like people that were just so confused by what was going on and they had no clue. You know what I mean? Like, that were just hanging out in the house with each other, having a good time, and went home. And oh my gosh, this man was, John O'Keefe was found on their lawn. Like, they were sounding like they were trying to get information and trying to, in the whole, tell him the guy didn't go in the house and the talking about the plea.
But yeah, they talked about the plea deal 2.5, 3 hours before she was even arraigned.
It was weird. Like, that's what you're worried about right now at this time? Like,
yeah, that's what I mean. Wouldn't you be sitting there with the text messages where you try to rehabilitate her? None of it is, oh, I feel so sorry for John. I feel so sorry for the kids. I feel so sorry for his parents. I got this, and I don't know if it's a Canton thing, but they have no friends. If you're not blood, you're dead. They have acquaintances. I kind of understood where the lonely firefighter, the friendless firefighter came from after watching Jen, because there's no friends in that group.
yeah.
Do you have friends, or do you only have people you know if they are not directly related to your family?
I mean, yeah, I definitely have friends outside of my family.
You would describe Iris as a friend, I think.
Yeah.
You've hung out a couple of times. You have trashed at B&B like rock stars. But these people are, if you're not blood or you're not married, you're out. Carrie, she couldn't even call Carrie a friend. Carrie, who was sitting there swooning over her and said, "Oh, we've become so close since it happened." And what does she do? She says, "Yeah, we spend a lot of time together." It's such a weird dynamic, I feel, in everyone's relationships with the Alberts. Everyone else are normal, but the Alberts are special.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Don't
I can
know.
describe it that way, but that's how I feel. They don't see you as worthy of hanging out with this great family.
Yeah, they're definitely that family in town that thinks that they like run the town and own everything and are better than everybody. That's for sure.
Yeah. Do we know why Paul and Peggy weren't in court in the afternoon? Rumor is, and again, twit twat, that Denise had her graduation prom night, so they left to to go to that, which I think is remarkable. That they finally something that seems like a family.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, not a
And well,
single.
here's
Oh, and
the
sorry.
thing was that he didn't really rehabilitate her on anything. Like he was just reading off a bunch of text messages that weren't even related to that group message that Alan Jackson was talking about.
No, and it was just
It was just
and you were just yeah. Oh, all
yeah,
these.
she was just
And
like, oh,
how can you
yeah,
read her other people's text messages to her in that way?
yeah.
It was so. I've never seen a trial where it's done like this before. And yet Jamie tried to kill Iris. Imagine how Jamie is with her acquaintances.
Hey, I treat everybody so kind.
I'm not. It's a misunderstanding. I'm a professional juror. I'm just an elected juror for 4 years at a time. But he can reach out to me, and I'll happily discuss it. But everyone thinks we're professionals. We're not professionals. We're just elected for 4 years at a time.
You just do it. You're just yeah, like you're
I sign up for it. I get elected to it, and then I do it for 4 years. It's not like it's a job where you do it every day, 8 hours a day.
yeah, but it's kind of you're you're more yeah, you're more
Yeah, I just do
educated
it for
than
four years in
we
a row,
are.
so I do a lot more than
What do
anyone
we
else.
get? You get picked, and then what's it, like every 3 years or something like that?
Every 4 years. That's why I said I got elected for 4 years.
No,
Sometimes
but
you
I mean
should
like
listen.
us over here.
Oh
Like
yeah, but you just get elected out of a bunch, and then people say,
yeah,
"Yeah,
it's
you."
random.
But again, we are pre-selected and then do it for 4 years at a time. But it's a different system, and I think people. Tom always say, "Oh, he's a professional juror. That's his job." No, it's not. And I've told him 20 times, but he's just getting excited. And I like that. And acquaintances, like the daughter said about the EMT last year. Yeah, the friendless firefighter. They were just acquaintances, and I think it's. I think they think they're town royalty. That they are the only family good enough in that town that everyone else should bow down to them. They are the king and queen.
Well, yeah, because I mean, think about it. Like they, their reputation is kind of tainted right now, and they are not liking it. That's for sure.
No, but before that, they used to run that town.
Mhm.
I was just looking up Fairview because I wanted to ask you a question a little bit later. That house was built in 74. They moved in 75. And then all of a sudden, they want to get out of it because the kids are getting big. No, that'll be a generational home. You'll sell it to one of your kids so they can start the next generation of the family there. It's not a shitty house. So you would stay there and sell it to your kids.
Yeah, I mean, that's what my parents always wanted to do
Yeah.
at some point.
and then they moved. I don't know Massachusetts. I think they moved out and kind of bump effing nothing, and that's even more weird because I know I've been talking with my daughter about moving closer to her, and one of the things is there's only one store and it closes at 9. But where do you go and get your energy drink when you want one at 11? How long do I have to drive for McDonald's? It's one of those things. When you live in a city, you live in a city. You're used to living in a city, so it's really a big change to move that far out into the boonies. And it's not something. I just don't understand why a Boston cop would move out to the sticks. Yeah, but she's just a normal mom. And yeah, every sad message
Run
was
away
from
from all the
Perry.
chaos for now. Yeah.
Sorry,
To hide out. I said to hide out, to get
I
away
don't
from
know. I
all
don't
the
know what's
chaos.
I don't know what's wrong with your mic. It sounds like they are delayed or something, and very low. It's
No.
because you never on anymore. Yeah, and every sad message Carrie sent, she just got it like a okay. Kind of like when I ask for pictures in DMs, and I just get a sure.
From who?
Zach. Everyone else find it weird how quick they threw Karen under the bus. No, I find it after hearing her yesterday. It's again, you have.
I found the old picture that Baker drew from back when this case first started of the guy with the cup. And I really want him to put that as his thumbnail from now on. All of
The
this.
guy with the who?
The drawing you made of the cup with John
The cup?
O'Keefe and the cup in the car.
You
You know what I'm talking about.
you're talking about a glass.
Yeah, his cup. Yeah. I love his bald head and everything. Is that his little? I
He
feel
got
like that's his
hair.
horseshoe hair. It's just like little horseshoe hair.
It's well, everyone in Canton is bald. This is after I saw Plevin's video that I made this
Yeah.
because
But I came across it today for some reason. I laughed and I was like, he really should put that as his thumbnail.
yeah, I never saved it anywhere. No, but I kind of see the Albert seeing themselves like this, and this is why I think they could throw Karen under the bus so fast. You have your family. That's the black circle. Then you have people who are kind of close to the family that the family trust. And then you have acquaintances. And then you have people you know. And Karen never ever made it past people you know, even though, oh, we were sitting there and we were having MS talks and it was so nice and finally found someone I could share my life with. And if you're sitting there discussing traumatic sickness like that and you never ever get past that, oh, it's just someone I know. To me, it's just such a weird dynamic. I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know. And she claims she's such good friends with John O'Keefe too. And she even like at one point said like she didn't like there was a couple times they did things, but she didn't like know him that well. But now he's the bestest friend she's ever had. And
Yeah, and again, Carrie. Oh, I stepped in. We stepped in with the kids. But did you? We
yeah.
were talking about hormonal things with the girls. An 11-year-old hormonal. I would never ever talk to them. Did I see the link? You probably put it the right place. I haven't seen it. I was away all day yesterday, and today I have been. Oh, by the way, as you can see, I finally got some office time this morning, and I have shipped the winners stuff from the last giveaway. So within 5 to 8 days, it should be at your house if I have written the addresses correctly. I think I've written them as I'm supposed to, but I tried. Kid might not be able to afford that house. They're 56, 58 years old. He's on a pension. He's been a police officer his entire life. He probably moonlights like a security guard or like a security consultant. They could stay in the house and making it part of the inheritance.
Yeah.
It's just that weird. I don't know. Why would you move into the boonies? I am worried the jury is just going to disregard everything the defense present like they did the first time. Well, they didn't disregard everything because they didn't find her guilty. But I think the big problem will be the more complicated you make it for them, the less they will understand. And that's why I think it was good that AJ slowed right down again. He lost his mind Wednesday. I didn't like it. I know, you can't say anything about Alan Jackson. He's the greatest lawyer in history. You had to call the ball and strikes. And,
yeah, it was a bit of a mess. I agree.
Yeah. I didn't like it. The way, because he knows she will love getting into a shouty match with him. And she knows I just need to say I hit him 1,000 times to put it in the head of the jury. Did you notice she fucked up and said, I saw the taillight pieces around his body?
Oh my God, that whole thing at the end was so stupid because she said what she said and then she went back on it like that 5 seconds later. Because first she's like, well, I didn't have to go in the house because I knew my sister was okay because she was saying I hit him. There's tail pieces around him and, he had been hit by a car or whatever. And then he asked her and she's like, well, I didn't know. And then she's been saying she didn't know the whole time. Like, she's been screaming, I hit him all day. But now, right when you get there and see him, all of a sudden you just solved the whole case and you just knew.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's weird. I've been thinking more this time around about the black SUV that was seen out front. If Karen is back at John's house, whose car is really seen? No car was seen at that point, and Jen figured out, oh fuck, I messed up. That's why she can only remember going to the door twice. In the first case, every time I was either looking out the window or looking out the door, I was looking at Karen's SUV while I texted John. Then they found out, the car couldn't have been there. And then she changed her story. There was no black SUV outside of Fairview 34 at 12:45. No one. So it wasn't, I will go so far and I'll say there was no white Jeep outside Fairview 34 at that time either. Did you get that entire, my peripheral vision, I saw some lights, so I guess that's the car that I saw that, but it could be, it was.
She tried to do that whole thing again where it was like, well, I saw it out of my peripheral vision, and it's like, okay. And the same thing with the tracks. Well, I saw tracks in the road, but I was looking over the lawn, so I didn't see a body.
Great segue, Jamie, because this picture is one of the few pictures I can find where we see the house and the car and all of this in a pretty good angle, because normally they will be snapped from down here or down here. But we do agree that if this is Karen's car parked outside of Fairview John's body is found around this place, right?
They're on the flagpole, yeah.
Yeah. And she said she was at the door looking at Karen's car and saw it, right?
Yeah.
And then she saw it move up past the flagpole. That's what she said this time. She said, I saw it down by the driveway or by the mailbox. And then she didn't really say at the mailbox, but she said something like that. But she couldn't say that. and then she saw it straight outside the front door. Then she saw it at the flagpole, and then she saw it past the flagpole.
Hmm.
Do you know what's really interesting about the human eye?
What?
We don't have tunnel vision.
No.
I don't know if you know that. If she was looking in this direction when it was at the flagpole or at outside the door, how can she not see John? Everyone who leaves that house, let me clear this up because now I do my normal thing and make a mess of it. Everyone who leaves that house where you have John here, 6'2", 200 pounds, 6'6", stood on the ground, weighing 225 pounds. Everyone who comes out of the front door will look like have. It's not something you think about, but that's your field of vision. I was talking to my nephew yesterday. He's in the Royal Guard. He was talking about they have a special trip they do where they have to walk a lot and do different exercises. And he talked about the third day when you only slept 2 hours, you start seeing really weird things because you see all the things that's not there. But actually, if you come to this house where you spend a lot of time, you know there's a lawn out front. Do you know what you notice?
Everything.
No, you actually don't. But what do you notice?
What? What?
Everything that's not normally there.
Yeah.
If your mom and dad had a new dog, you see that dog. You don't see the 5 dogs they have already. They're just the dogs running around, but you would instantly see if they had a new one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
because
correct.
we see patterns. So if this drive, and again, 6'2", that's what, half the car length or something like that. It's not like there's just a little spot on. This is a big person lying on the road.
Mhm.
Everyone who left that house that night looked out that front door, unless they were walking out backwards, would have seen John O'Keefe. And then some people on Twitter said, that's not how your eyes works. It's exactly how your eyes works. And you can't tell me 8 or 11 people left that house and no, not one of them looked out the lawn and saw a big old black lump there. All of them came out, turned right this way, walked down to their car, moved out, drove this way, where they also had the lights on. And this just drove past. Not one person at all, except that one lady who all of a sudden remembered she might have seen a black something laying on the floor. It doesn't make sense if you think about it.
No, it doesn't. And there wasn't even that much snow. They're really trying to push the snow, and because, well, I mean, even in the morning she was saying, oh, it was such a blizzard that the snow was flying around that you couldn't even see in front of your face.
Yeah.
Like that's why.
If
And at night it didn't even snow that much because people want to still argue that, well, he was covered with snow. It hadn't even really started snowing.
no, and that's the thing. They need to upsell it, but the defense need to get in there. And I don't know, maybe wait for the weatherman when he comes in and talks about all of the downpour and how horrible the weather was at the time they found the body. Get him to testify. How was the weather condition at 12:30 till 1 a.m.? Because at that time there was a slight snowing. We know that because we saw the videos from the library video.
Mm-hmm.
There's no snow. Maybe I can find that. Talk amongst yourself.
Yeah, it's not even really. That was the whole thing. Like she's still trying to sell that whole. I saw track marks on the road, but I didn't. I looked basically over the lawn, And I loved when she tried to say, well, it was because the street was lighted, the street lights were on. So that was why it was easy to see this tracks on the road versus a body in the lawn. Because the lawn was dark and the street was lit. Like, make it make sense. Because to me it doesn't make sense. At all.
Yeah, this is the one they showed us the last time. How
Mhm.
bad the weather was. This is
What
at
time was it?
12:00. I can't see what it says.
12:01 maybe? I don't know. But yeah, so midnight when they were going to be getting back to the house pretty soon. That's nothing. That's like no snow. Yeah, and look at that accumulation, that blizzard. Yeah.
This is at 5:15. There's not enough snow on the road to leave tire tracks. How could she see tire tracks 5 hours before this? That's the stuff I think the defense needs to be better at showing that this is no snow. Anyone who lives anywhere where it's snow, no, this is nothing.
Hmm.
This is because they were all of them were talking about how much they have to shovel. This entryway for the library, you can shovel that in 5 minutes. But they were out in 45 minutes removing snow so they were ready if they got the call.
Yeah, they're really trying to sell this snow situation to make it seem like he was just buried and no one was going to see that guy.
It's yeah, this is at 5:10 at I think that's the same we saw before. You can see that snow has fallen,
Yeah.
but it's the curb are not even covered where it accumulates over here. But they still want to tell you that it's the worst blizzard in history has happened. Look another thing on the pictures. What don't you see?
What am I looking for?
Just look at the pictures and tell me what you're not seeing.
I mean, I don't see any tracks anywhere.
It's a massive blizzard. Where's the snow? You can see there's a little drift of snow in front of the light. This
Yeah, I'm
is
trying
an
to see if like your
this is an hour before they. This is while they're driving around. 5:18.
you see it
This
blowing, but it's barely, that's not even significant. Sorry.
this is where they are all are afraid to go out driving because the weather conditions are so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because
It
it's a
looks like
whiteout.
Yeah.
I think you have to live in Florida to either considering this snowing. I'm sorry, wonderful friends in Massachusetts, but if you ever came to Jamie's part of town, you'd be laughed at if you called this snow.
Yeah, that's like rookie numbers.
Yeah. They have 2 lights flanking the front door, a lamppost lighting the walkway, and 2 spotlights above the garage. They don't turn them on when guests and family are leaving. Well, they turn on automatically because we saw that in the morning when she goes to the house. Then the lights at the patio lights turn on. This is ridiculous. Agreed, the defense needs to show this clear as crystal. The snow wasn't that bad. The only reason the snow seems bad is because we have a dash cam with faulty windshield wipers.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, dash cams are probably the lowest quality you can get. And then we can see when the wipes its windows, it doesn't even remove the water on the windshield. And you want me to believe it's such a heavy snow that you couldn't see anything.
No.
It's
Yeah, they do.
But I was driving yesterday in the rain. That was less. I had less visibility than I would have had that day, and that's only because I've been out driving where there's a lot of bugs and I haven't cleaned my windshield. It's it. Yeah, Mandy caught it. It's not snowing, and again, this entire blizzard story. I think if you can get the jury, if you can show this to the jury and get them to understand it, a Nordic snowstorm is worse than this. Well, we have snowstorms in Denmark that's worse than this, and we don't get snow.
They just have
Maybe
to
if that's
find an
Hawaii.
excuse. I mean, that's really all it is. It's just trying to find an excuse to be like, this is why we didn't see him. This is why we didn't see him when she apparently smashed into him in front of us, right in front of my eyes,
Yeah,
and then took off.
yeah. It was cold out and the snow was blowing. I can tell you that there was the amount of snow that has accumulated over 4 hours is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. And they want to upsell this as it's the most heaviest snow, but it could have been. I think it was found to be the top something. I can't remember how much it was, but that was at 7 a.m. It was after,
Yeah,
around the time they found John's body is where it got really, really weird.
it was a lot later
Yeah.
after he was found.
He had 6 inches of snow covering him. And again, if you want to use the picture that we have from the house where you can see, well, there's a lot of snow, but again, there's not a lot of snow behind them. There's a little bit of the bottom of his tire isn't covered. So again, you need to get the jury to understand that they are selling you the cat in the bag with all of this snow talk. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
If only we had ring footage camera. Well, this is ring footage camera, but because there's 2 floodlights right next to it, it'll look worse because the light will hit the snow and make it seem worse.
Mhm.
My husband have awesome dash camera. It didn't cost too much. Our cops could do better if they wanted to. Well, it's a time where they don't want body cams because they would rather spend $300,000 to get a new kitchen at the police station. Seems like high-tech stuff isn't their priority. Yeah, exactly. The dog ate my homework. I didn't see anything. I didn't know anything. I didn't hear anything. That's another thing. No one in the house heard what would have been a massive crash. Well, we were listening to It's Raining Men.
And they're just her trying to lie that she didn't get up as many times as she did. But how would she miss it?
Yeah, that's exactly. And she was looking out there all the time and just trying to.
Because what now their timeline is what 12:31
12:32.
seconds?
No, impact at 12:31:58, I believe it is. But he dies at 12:32 because he gets hit, thrown to the ground, but still has to check his phone because you can't leave a girl hanging.
Their theory that he was hit and then what 7 seconds or something he's able to look at his phone, check the message, lock his phone, and then die. That's
Yeah, and
their theory.
put it behind him on the ground, and then fall back and hit his head. Cat in the back. You don't have that saying either.
The cat's out of the bag.
No, the cat is in the bag. It's when you buy something you don't know what you're buying.
No,
It's
I've never heard that. I've always said when something gets said, or whatever, people are like, "Oh, the cat's out of the bag."
yeah. That means that you disclose something. But if you buy a cat in a bag, you don't know how the cat is because it's just someone is walking around with a cat in a bag, and you say $5, and he said sure, and you might come home with a cat with 3 legs.
Oh, nope. The things you say.
Why don't you have cool sayings like we do?
I don't know.
Because it perfectly describes what you're doing. You're buying something
you.
without knowing what you're buying. It's a cat in a bag.
Or and who's buying cats in bags other than to go take them to the barrel?
Stupid people, because of course you will check the cat before you buy it. Jamie, you have never gone to someone's house and they said, well, I have a cat out back, you want to buy it?
No.
Without saying, sure, can I have a look? Just check the teeth, check that it's a pretty good fighting cat. You don't do that.
A fighting cat?
Yeah. Well, if Iris can run an illegal cockfighting ring, you can have a cat fighting ring.
Oh my God, stop. I wouldn't. Poor babies.
Karen was screaming on the lawn, why did no one come out of the house to see what's going on? But they did. The Asians did.
The Asians did?
Yeah. Oh, let me find those pictures.
There's pictures?
Yeah. You've seen these, Jamie, I'm sure.
Oh, probably. Well, I still don't believe her at all that you find a body on your sister's lawn and you're cool with just not going in the house to see if she's okay. Especially since, oh, well, I called her twice. Well, you called her twice and she didn't answer. I would be going in that house so fast. I don't care who you are. That is so suspect to me.
But the funny thing, they had an 18-minute call that morning. That 18-second call, right around the time that Karen called her. And Jamie, you're a smart person. Can you tell me the timeline? Karen calls at around 5. Says John hasn't come home.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes out looking for her. And then at some point, Jen talks to her and say, come pick me up. And then Jen and Carrie tells her, let's go back to John's house and look for him. Why would you do that? Why would you go back to the house further away from the last place? Especially when Karen said, I left him at the waterfall, right? He said, no, you've forgotten. You took him to Fairview. Let's go check there. Why wouldn't you stop there and get on the horn with Coco?
Yeah.
And here, if he might have walked home, changed his mind, gone back to him, knocked on the door and say, hey, it's getting too cold. Can I sleep here tonight?
I think that's the dumbest thing ever. The whole, well, she's at his house. He's clearly not there.
Yeah.
But then you want to go, well, let's go back there and look around.
Yeah, maybe you didn't look under the bed.
I'm an idiot and I didn't know. I didn't know he was here. Are you like?
Yeah, it's kind of like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you go straight to Fairview or straight to the waterfall? And why is it so important to you when she says, I want to go to Fairview, that you talk her into going back to Clearwater? That's the thing I don't understand. You don't believe her. She's hysterical. There's nothing wrong. Why not go and say, see, nothing on the lawn. Come on now, you're just hysterical. Why would you say, hey, let's go back to your house where your niece are alone? She wouldn't have, if she's checking the house out or anything, have found him. It's just, I don't understand that timeline and the reasoning behind it.
I don't either. I just found that them insisting for them to go back to John's house to look for him after she was just there.
Again, you don't want to make it look like you're having a cover-up, but I'm sorry, I'm just rushing through a lot of stuff here. So
no, I mean, they may not have anything to do with it. Just say it that way. But the way they're going about things is so suspect. Like it's
Yeah,
not normal. It's not normal for everybody to people to get rid of their phones on a military base. It's not normal to like have all these shady phone calls and you can't remember what you said. You don't remember who you talked to. You're butt dialing everyone. These butt dials were insane to me because I completely understand that you can accidentally call somebody maybe once. But what happens usually? It goes to voicemail, and you have a bunch of voicemails of just wind and people talking in the background, and there's not these answers, hangs up, and you keep doing it. Like that to me is the stupidest excuse in the entire world. I can say yes to once, maybe twice, but not 7 times in a row, you know, and definitely not without voicemails when there's like when you're not able to they're not answering it and you're able to hang it up like that. What sense does that make? So
yeah, and that's the big problem because again, you're not covering anything up. You didn't do anything wrong. Why are you so shifty?
yeah,
That
that's my problem is why are these people being so weird if you
why
did
not just
nothing
say
wrong?
again, instead of Horseface McGee losing her mind, if you just said, "Yeah, Karen was crazy, and we were trying to just calm her down, and everything
Hmm.
would be okay," and we wanted to go home and make sure the niece was okay because she was very upset. So that's our first priority. But instead, it's just no. I want to go check if John is there. Why? And she couldn't answer for why didn't you go to Fairview? Well, whose plan was it? Well, we thought John could be at the house, and she just didn't see him.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
know.
Any juror who hears
Oh,
that would think, are you slow in French?"
yeah. Well, Erin Olivia said I didn't hear that the first trial. Yeah, she called those butt dials also because she said they must have been butt dials the
Yeah,
first trial.
and you must have the most agile bot to call someone 7 times and hang up 7 times before it goes to voicemail.
Yeah, because you have to actually physically hang it up and then hit it again and keep doing that. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's no automatic close off with a bot dial.
Mm-mm.
It has to go to voicemail, and then voicemail has to run out. It's a couple of minutes, and then it'll hang up. I can't find that picture.
American Dreamer said Colin called Tom's daughter for a ride that morning. Why? Tom's daughter? Who's Tom?
Tom Beatty, the guy who they all of a sudden brought into it. He was on the witness list in the first trial. We don't know. He
Yeah,
wasn't
I don't know.
called, but he called. His daughter apparently said that Colin had called her at 12:33 to get a ride, which is weird because remember Colin. Colin is the kid all of us wish we had. Um, he's such a good kid. When he comes home drunk as a skunk from his underage drinking, he makes sure to go into his mom, give her a little cheeky talk, and say, "Hey, mommy girl, your favorite son is home." And she says, "Oh, Colin, you are gonna be the star of the high school football team because you're such a good kid." And he'll say, "Yeah, mom, I'm underage drinking at my uncle's house, but it's okay. Can you go tuck me in, mommy? Because you know Colin likes it when it's really tight in the back." And she says, "Anything from you, Colin?" And then his dad comes up and says, "Oh, Mama Bear's gonna tuck in Colin. Should
Aw.
Daddy read your story?" And he goes, "Would you, Daddy? Could we do the one with the turtle and the hare?" Oh, that's
What?
my favorite story as well. "Oh, look, Colin. your knuckles are all messed up. Yeah, Daddy. I have this slight mental problem. So instead of doing what everyone else does when they have to try and stop a fall and spread out their hands, I always do this. And they laughed and said, "Oh, Colin, you're such a weird boy, but we love you. You're going to be a star. You
Yes.
don't understand social media, but you're back home with Mama and Dada. And now we're going to tuck you in. You want hot cocoa before you sleep?" That's the
No.
story that Chris Albert, and I can't remember what his wife is called, Kuf Kuf, or whatever nickname she has. But there
I
could
don't
be a
think she's
different
called
story where Colin didn't go out at 12:10 just as Coco came home. That he might have stayed a little longer at the house and then called Tom Beatty's daughter at 12:33 saying, "Hey, can you pick me up?" I even think there's a text message, but I'm not sure. And when that was disclosed later, Jen, my favorite baker mama, Mama Bear, Jen, Jen. She then
Baker Mama. Oof.
baker maybe, but when she hears that, she says, maybe that 16-year-old girl should stuff a male lower body appendix into her mouth and stop talking so much because she's such a good mama. Did you know she
She said
she
that about Tom Beatty's daughter.
yeah, when Tom Beatty's daughter said, "I got a call from Colin at 12:33 asking for a ride," she said, "Maybe you should stuff a D into your mouth and stop talking," is what the rumor is.
She's so sweet.
But she's a mama bear, they get a little.
She's sweet. Ew.
Who- Hey, I've been
No,
single for a long time.
I would not allow that. I would.
No, I don't like
I'd
when
be a block.
women rattle.
She's too skinny.
Yeah, I don't like that skinny. I bet Jen is the type of mom who buys cookies and after she eats some, she makes herself. But Diane G, I
No.
don't. That's Diane G is put on the Brandon list. Always read it through. Well, that Sebastian, you know how it is. That's sometimes yeah. Oh, Chloe is fine and well. She's living in Vermont. They took a teeth sample of her. Everything is fine with her. She's wonderful, no problems at all. And I still can't find the pictures I want to
Just
see.
taking
show you.
everybody's word for it. So yeah, whatever.
Hey, they said it in court, so it must be true. You have seen these pictures, and now I can't find them. And I had them. Did I hit them the other day? I might have bookmarked them because I know I always forget them.
Oh, the pictures you're trying to show me?
Yeah, and everyone knows what pictures I'm looking for, and I just can't. I always forget to bookmark them when I see them. Saying, "Oh, it's such a great picture. I need to show it because it makes so much sense." But instead,
But
I have stuff like this in my bookmarks.
what is happening? What is this?
It's somebody out hunting.
Why did you have that?
This is stuff I remember to
I
bookmark
mean,
for
don't get me wrong, that looks fun. I would do
that's stuff I bookmark, but I forget to bookmark the pictures I need in a case. The Vegas cop said Brian was definitely awake and watching out of sight. Brian couldn't go out because it was planned. They also said no cop leaves their front door unlocked. CJ Lorraine, I'm not a cop, but I don't leave my front door unlocked.
I don't either. It's spooky out there.
Yeah, there's weirdos out there. There's a lot of weirdos out there. And was there sirens on? I don't remember sirens, but the lights were on. Maybe some. Again, stop with the fucking line and try and fix it. Some lights were on. No, there was a shit ton of cop cars outside with running lights.
But they were pretty much on the neighbor's lawn, Baker. Remember?
Yeah,
Not in front of
yeah,
his
because
window.
light works again, just like your vision. It only works in this little short.
Yeah.
That's why when I was driving back from the baby Baker's house the other day, and I looked up in the rearview mirror and I saw blue lights flashing, I thought, oh, I better pull to the side because there was a cop car coming through. You want to hear a funny thing, Jamie? They actually put those lights on so you get, again, we talked about you see the things that are not normally there. And because there's a flashing light, you see it. So you know, oh, I have to be alert right now. Not in Canton. It only works in this little area.
They only see.
Tag me on Twit. Exactly. These are the pictures I was looking for.
Well, his whole thing about why didn't you even go into the house just to get Brian in general, just so he could help with CPR? None of you knew CPR. You know, why? And it was just she just fought tooth and nail with that answer, and it was just, it's frustrating. It was frustrating, and it makes her look shady.
Yeah. And thank you to Serenity and American Dreamer for sending me the same pictures that I'm too dumb to remember to bookmark. Because they're really, really good pictures to see what the state of things were that morning. Oh. This is from the Asian's house. Look at this massive snowstorm, Jamie. There's so much snow you couldn't see anything anywhere out there. Can you even tell where the road starts?
That's nothing. When you really get to look at it like that, this is ridiculous how they're making it out to be the blizzard of the century.
Again, if they didn't have that wonderful picture of the busted up headlight, then they wouldn't. They couldn't sell the lie that this was the worst blizzard in history.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the side view. This is the working conditions they were having. Remember when the officer came and said, oh, I had to have my spotlights on because I couldn't see anything. It's so hard to see anything out there. We couldn't hardly see the car on nothing.
Yeah.
Because of the whiteout.
Yeah, that's pathetic.
You can, but again, you can sell it with the dash cam video. But if these two pictures can be brought into court and they can bring in the Asians to talk about what had happened was, remember they talked about this big snowbank down by the road? Oh, I should just have this. There was a big snow pile. That's what they want to tell you. There's such a big snow pile. That's where all the glass were hidden.
Yeah.
They walk around in this area with snow blowers and don't find nothing. They find clear glass and not one piece of red glass. And we know from this place till roughly this place is where they find 45 pieces of tail light. But not one single person steps on a piece of glass, finds a piece of glass, sees a piece of glass in the snow.
Nope. That I find hard to believe. I always have. That
I don't think that it's a ring camera. I think it's a manually televised photos. And someone asked if I could focus on the flagpole. I don't think I can. This is the flagpole. I can't embiggen it much more than that. But you can see all the disturbed snow over here. But I just love that the guy in this car claimed he couldn't see the SUV here because it was a whiteout. But these neighbors with a phone camera took a picture where you can see one, two, three people. I would even bet that if you look really hard at it, you could identify who they are. Yeah, really close to the road. Yeah, she effed up and said that. That's a news story as well, that he was on the ground with chillized glass near him. Because again, remember, no one sees a piece of tail light. They find like 3 pieces at 5:48. No, 6:03 maybe. That
I'm
night
not sure.
they found 3 pieces
yeah.
of tail light. And then they don't find tail light until an almost blind, off-duty police commissioner who is out on sick leave because, hey, I told everyone, can you just drive by and see if you find anything? There's no reason to go back and look for anything. He drives down the road where he spots pieces of tail light. He then collects those. They don't call the search team back. They don't go over the front lawn again. Then Michael Proctor on 2 separate occasions, and I think Bukaki, or maybe one each. I might be in. Well, this is when we need Valhalla's picture of the tail light. But at these times, up till the last pieces, the biggest pieces of tail light isn't found till 11 days after or something like that. When the snow is cleared, because someone went in and looked at pictures from Baston in that period. And the snow cleared out in like 3 days. So why don't anyone who lives in that effing house find taillight pieces this big? Why doesn't any neighbor drive past at night and say, oh, there's some reflection in the yard where a police officer died. Let me take a look at it. No one sees anything except police officers. No one. It's just not likely.
I just can't get past that. That for me is a big thing that none of those cops, 2 times they searched before and they saw nothing?
Yeah, they found like teeny minute pieces, and then they find the big square pieces at the last. You would find the biggest pieces first. That's just normal sense. But it looks like about 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground. Probably 4 or 5 inches of snow, because at 7 a.m. the accumulated snowfall at airport just north of there had 3.3 inches. So 4 to 5 inches is probably a good guess. There is a snowbank in those pictures. Had to be the MSP search later in the day. No, it's not a snowbank. It's just snow that's disturbed. This is from the morning of. This is right before Karen is section 12, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But there would have been snow on top of the broken pieces. Yes, in the morning there would have been. But still, we're talking about high-res red tail light. What do they find? Clear pieces of glass. They don't find the red pieces of tail light till later. And we're talking about some of the pieces are the size of a cigarette pack.
Yeah,
They
they're
go
big.
around with the leaf blower. Brian Albert's testimony is going to be good unless he claims brain damage from fighting. Yeah.
I mean,
Cops took no pictures, none of John, none of taillight, none of the yard, none of the house. They did actually take some of those pictures. But again, then I'll have to
What about this
imagine
5?
if I had a little more.
I hope they
If
get
I had
more
my
into this DNA that's on the shoe.
what?
What?
So
The five unknown DNA that's on his shoe that's
it's
found?
on his pants.
Yeah, no. They said there's DNA on his shoe too.
Yeah, but Jamie, I know you ladies are not as proficient as we men are, but let me tell you something, brother.
Well, he made a
Um,
big point of it in his opening statement, so that's what I'm saying.
but he had been at a bar that night.
Yeah, but
We splash a lot when we pee, especially when we're drunk.
other 5 other men.
If you've been to the toilet 5 times, yeah, no problem.
Then why would AJ make a point to say it in the opening statement?
I don't know if they had them tested. We haven't heard anything about it, but I can't. I don't know what should be so special. Why can't I find?
Well, to me,
Blame everyone else but myself.
I don't know, because there's obviously DNA on his pants too that they never tested, but they never tested anybody in that house. They never tested any of the Alberts or the McCabe's. So
No, they didn't want to turn over a DNA sample to be excluded. That's funny how
Mhm.
they didn't want to do that. I would do that. Even, well, I don't want to be in a government registry. Just to make sure that no one think that I did anything bad, I would have no problem. But again, I'm in a high trust environment. This is the one.
yeah, it definitely
None of
doesn't
this,
mean
none of this was found. You can see the search team finds these 3 pieces. These 3 pieces is found at the scene, which kind of looks like this is where there's a little bit of the tail light missing as well. That they never find this piece of tail light.
yeah,
These
there is a
3
piece
pieces.
they never found.
Sorry.
I said there was a piece that they never found,
Yeah, it's
which
right
kind
here.
of would make sense if she hit his car that morning, like it
Yeah.
shows.
I don't know if it's connection that's bad, but you kind of glitches in and out sometimes with your audio. But these 3 pieces is the only thing found by the search team on the 29th, which could align with it being broken and easy to snap off if she had cracked her tail light. This is also what I would call, if we are saying that this area is kind of damaged and there's a little bit here and there missing, and this might be protruding, is what I would call a cracked tail light. I would never call this a cracked tail light if you take all of this out. No human being would call this a cracked tail light.
Well, when he showed Carrie Roberts that picture of the taillight, what it looked like in the Sally Port when it was completely gone, and she said, "Yeah, that's what I saw. That's cracked." Like, give me a break.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You would never describe this as cracked.
No, I
This
would have said
this is
it's
destroyed.
blown out. Like it's gone.
But again, this little area here is what's found on the 29th. A tiny little piece and 2 smaller size pieces. Then Bukaki finds pieces from all over the tail light front part on the 3rd of February. Then Bukaki drives by. No, this is Berkey as well. He finds another piece the day after. Oh, sorry, I'm reading this wrong. No, it's not Berkey. Sorry, I'll just do this in a different way because now I'm confusing myself. This area is where the third team finds something. Then we go to the 3rd of February, and you find something here, and something from up here. Then we go to the 4th of, that's found by Bukaki. Then Berkowitz finds this piece down here. Let me change the color. This piece down here a day after. And then you have, I'm just trying to figure out the dates. Then Proctor comes in. And Proctor finds this piece on the 8th of February. Then Bukaki comes back and finds pieces from this area on the 10th. Then Proctor comes back on the 11th and finds this area. And then he finally comes back on the 18th and finds this entire area of the tail light.
It's weird.
With all the biggest pieces in it.
And Berkey is the one that was driving by and found the tail light, right? He's the one.
Everyone was just driving by. None of them saw anything other than, and Berkowitz, who's almost blind, finds a little bitty, teeny beanie. I can't even see how big it is.
I remember he drove by and was like, "Oh, there's one."
Yeah.
Stopped and
and I love it has the black plastic rim on these pieces because that's not how glass breaks. That's torn off the siding or the housing.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't take a week. It took almost 3 weeks.
Yeah, all together.
That's another thing that just makes all of this so ridiculous. Believing that it just shows up. But how? Well, it just does. But again, you have to tell it to the jury so they can figure it out. And I'm sorry, I don't have much faith in juries. Oh, and someone said that there was no pictures from the yard. We do have very good pictures of the yard, where you can clearly. This is some of the greatest police working I have ever seen, because it shows everything. Then we have maybe I can just share it on this one. You have the magic tail light piece that's just lying there in the snow. See, all the snow is melting, and you see this picture. Small little pieces up here, a clear piece of glass. I can't
Does
see
that make
what
sense
will.
that it would be all the way down to the ground?
Well, if there was no snow, yeah, it'll make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense when it melts, but it's just like you're waiting. I don't know. That's just so dumb to me.
Oh, this is the magic straw. The straw that stayed here on the road, showing that she did it.
Yeah.
I forgot all these stupid. And then they found this at the fire hydrant. And again, Jamie, wouldn't this have been the spot where you slammed his head against this fire hydrant and said he must have had a slip and fall? I still don't get why they tried to pin it on the girl. This is where what I would have said, he left and he must have fallen and hit his head on the fire hydrant. No one would have been looking at it. No one would have done anything about it. They would have said, "Yeah, okay," and they'll just have forced the ME to see it their way. I love this big piece of plastic that tightens the glass to the car. It wouldn't break off if it's not pulled off. It's so ridiculous. But yeah, they had establishing shots of everything. The cap,
What's that? Oh, the hat. Yeah.
where they dug down into the ground and found it.
Yeah. I don't know.
A piece of plastic near the electrical cabinet. He could have slammed his head on that one. Clear glass. Yeah, they had to point it out because no one could see anything.
I just don't
More-
understand how a taillight explodes out all over.
No, especially lands before the zone of impact. Because that's the thing you have to believe is he gets hit and then the glass flies this way
Yeah.
instead of
It
following
would
him.
be the opposite. It would go inward.
Yeah. When Spanky was doing the Wadir of Arca, if you watch it close, you see Bev take her glasses off and look at Spanky. Then you see Spanky shake his head. No, ex parte maybe. Nope. I mentioned it when we watched it. Why is he shaking his head? Won't do anything. Don't do anything. Again, remember, we can have all of these weird things that we notice, and it won't mean a thing because Bev's the queen. It's her courtroom. She can do whatever she wants. Hey, Amber KR. Out and backwards. Yeah, it's the opposite of the magic bullet in the JFK story. Back and to the right. This just, instead of following physics, it's just a Canton triangle.
Well, yeah, think about it. The taillight hits him and just explodes out into the yard. It doesn't make sense to me.
I reposted to my YouTube. Thank you. If there was tail light on the road, it would be found all the way down the road because of the snow plows. Not a chance they'll all end up in the grass. Defy physics. And another thing, some of these pieces are really small. And I know Plevin told me I don't know how snow works. But Jamie, you are a Midwesterner. Right? Wisconsin is the Midwest.
Yeah,
You have seen snow before.
I have.
Do you know what snow is made out of?
Frozen water.
Can you take your water cup and do this? What's that?
Water.
Not frozen water.
No.
What does that water do?
It moves.
It moves. If you had
Liquid.
light plastic laying on top of snow that melts, would it just sink through it or would it drift with it?
Well, I mean, if it's gonna move with the water, yeah.
What does that area of the garden do? It tilts towards the curb.
Yeah.
So all of the pieces should have been found closer to the curb. It shouldn't have been found further up than the body because the snow would move it down, especially when there's so much snow been piled up. There would have been a lot of excess water in the area. It's so stupid.
I mean, it would shift a little bit, yeah. Even if anything. So
The little bitty pieces, if it's trapped in the snow, would be moved. And remember, they had been around with the leaf blower and moving everything around. The CERT team had dug all the way down the garden. I love the pictures they took of all the snow. So it looked like there'd been a lot of snow. Again, the defense really needs to get it in the heads of the jury. There wasn't that much snow. But they all believe that all of this undisturbed evidence just were in those places. When no one took, you saw the pictures they took. You can't tell me where in the garden any of these pictures are from, except the one with the electrical box and the one with the fire hydrant. The rest of them, you could just as well have taken pictures when the they did the butt dials. They could have taken butt pictures. You don't know where any of these pictures are taken because there's no establishing shot made at the scene. Normally, if you have an investigation, we saw this in the Dr. Turk case, you will have a wide, then you'll have a close-up, then you will have, okay, we put one of those little funky cones here, then we'll go in and say, this is funky cone number 1, and what are we seeing at funky cone number 1? So you'll have the entire living room with funky cones all over. And then we'll say, okay, this is the area where the TV was. You can see funky cone 3, 4, 5. This is where funky cone 3 was. And here is the straw next to funky cone 3 that I put into evidence, put in an evidence bag that I have here, and I can tell you exactly where I took that straw from. This is how you do it. You don't just do this because you can't tell anything from it. And we know when the guy who put in the GPS locations, he said, yeah, they all kind of just morphed into one blob. So you can't tell where any of the evidence was found. I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Well, no,
Jamie,
you have no pictures of anything. What?
Jamie is taking butt pictures right now.
Of whose butt? My butt?
I don't know. Your neighbors? The video of them outside with police didn't appear to be blackout blizzard conditions unless they're wimps. Jackie, see, that's why I've been saying all the time, we need the other dash cam video to be the one the jury remembers. Because remember, Lally, he showed us this entire ride with the bad windshield wiper car, how bad it was and how you couldn't see anything. The more I see it, the more details I pick out. But if he had not had his lights on, it would be perfectly fine. Because it's just because the light hits the snow, it looks worse. And if you had spent $12 and gotten a new pair of windshield wipers, we saw the pictures of them standing outside. There's no snow there. That's a normal snowing day anywhere in the world, unless if you live in Hawaii or somewhere. No one would call that a snowstorm or a blizzard.
No. I wouldn't call it a blizzard because that's what they were calling it. Just like
yeah, for all we know, they're going to take it right side up the Celleport. Karen Reed is single, just saying. Yeah, expert, you can fall on that grenade.
Mm-hmm.
My neighbor's mailbox get hit by side mirrors monthly. Their house is 50 feet down the road. I'm constantly finding glass and plastic from the reflectors on the side of the mirror in my driveway yard. If you live somewhere where it rains a lot of stuff like that, things move around. Water is really good at moving stuff. Jamie, have you heard about that place near the Alaskan border called not Carolina?
Mm-mm.
It's a state in America. There's South Carolina, then there's North Carolina. And
what did you call it?
North Carolina.
And you didn't call it that at first. I was like, what are you talking
No,
about?
I said North Dakota, but that was the wrong one. But it's up near the border of Alaska.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They had a big problem with a lot of rainfall earlier this year.
Yeah.
Do you know what all that water did?
Did it flood everything?
Flooded everything and moved a shit ton of roads. Because water moves stuff. Water is really, really good at moving stuff. And that's why would all the evidence stay in 3 weeks? It's just staying in the same spot. That's the thing I don't understand.
Well, I'm just not understanding how you didn't find it. And why they're not searching for things all at one time either. That's so crazy to me. Like you're going to continually 3 weeks, take a 3-week search.
Yeah, again, why don't you go back and say, oh, we found a piece of tail light. Oh, someone else find a piece. Let's go back, canvas the entire yard, take pictures and move every little leaf. No, just drive by when if you have a spare time, just get moving. Blizzard conditions have more to do with low temperatures and high winds, not snowfall accumulation. Yeah, but they want to tell you that it's impossible to see because it's a whiteout, and they want to say it's because of the blizzard. But there's not that much. If there's not that much accumulation, the high winds won't move that much snow. And I don't even think it was that cold that morning.
I think they said, what did they say? It get down to 18 at night, which that's still not below freezing.
It hadn't. That's another thing with. It's going to be so effing cold. He cracks his head. Val and I went back and saw the temperature. You need to have like tundra conditions where it's cold for a long time. Of course, you can have the topsoil layer would probably freeze, but it hadn't been that cold. It's been was it in the 50s or the 60s the week before?
I think, yeah, it was in the 40s or something like that. 40s or 50s the week before. And then it just you need the temperatures to be like below freezing for like, I mean, it's got to be at least a week, right?
Yeah.
Like straight and all day. Because you can't have this like, yeah, it's freezing at night and then it gets warm during the day and then goes back to like that kind of fluctuation is not going to make the ground hard as a rock. And we're talking ground, like.
Yeah, and the ground is actually a little bit hot.
Mm-hmm.
If the vehicle hit his right arm because he was standing sideways, the vehicle would hit his body too. For right arm hit any other way, back would have to be behind the arm out, therefore knocked forward. I have done this to Bender so many times. This is the story they tell you. He was standing, because you're right. If he was standing like you normally would, let's say he was looking at his phone. That's why he wasn't observant, because he was watching TikToks. He was a little drunk. If the car hit his arm and trashed, it'll rip his body apart and maybe even throw it under the car. That's why Lally needs him to stand with his arm outstretched. But with his arm outstretched, you can't have the taillight because the taillight isn't big enough to make marks on both sides of the elbow. It's and again, I hope they can make it demonstrative, because when you see Bender get hit, you can see it's shit. I just made that up, Jamie. Am I clever? So clever. But they want to say that he's holding a glass, and that's where the dent in the tailgate comes from. But that makes no sense, because his arm would be ripped in front of him and his body be spun. Where's all the marks from when he tumbled on the ground? Again, remember, the new thing is he gets out the car with a cocktail glass. If I go out of a car with a cocktail glass, I'll have it in my right hand, my dominant hand. So I'm standing here with my cocktail glass, having a good time, waiting for that angry biatch who yelled about Bella's mom to get out to me. And I'm just, hey, honey, come on, man. Let's get into the house. And she said, no, I'm going to drive up and kill you. And then you get hit by the car.
Yeah.
And then she drives off, the angry woman. Then you get a text. You take your phone out and you check it and open it with your Face ID and say, oh, yeah, I better call her back. Closes your phone, drops it behind you, and then falls and dies a minute later.
Abruptly die. Yeah, pass away.
How can you even take a
Hit
case
your head
where...
on what?
What?
On the hard ground to bust your head? Yeah. I said also, and hit your head on what? To cause a massive head injury.
The frozen ground.
Yeah.
Could he have stumbled and touched the SUV before heading into the house, leaving his DNA on the car? Possible. Let me do another little demonstration.
The DNA on the car?
Jamie, when you were with with Iris in your garage. Um, you had your car parked like this, and Iris was supposed to go around it like that.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of room around your car in your garage?
No.
Could she potentially have done this in the garage?
Possibly. The garage door was coming down, so she had to hustle.
Yeah. And if he has, didn't they say he had an old car standing in his garage? So
Mhm.
let's say when he gets out of her car every day in the garage, that would probably, and again, you couldn't tell it was his DNA. But if she had taken the kids to school that day, do you know what kids really like to do? Touch stuff.
Touch everything.
So it could just as well have been the kids who touched the car. It's a car in a family. It has nothing to do with anything. The
Yeah, and
DNA
his
is the
DNA.
worst part of the evidence because it sounds really important, but if you think about it for 2 seconds, and I don't think the defense made them think about it the last time. It's on the defense to make them think about it, but any car in my household that's in a garage that I drive in regularly probably have my DNA on the weirdest spots.
Mhm.
A dude
There's
would
probably Iris DNA in my truck right now, so it
Yeah.
better not.
yeah, and a dude unloading groceries would leave DNA. Yeah, everyone would do it.
Well, yeah, and it's his girlfriend's car, so
Yeah.
you have to think of it
It's
like
not
that
his
too. Like,
DNA.
I thought it was.
No, it's maternal DNA. So it's Peggy, him,
No, the
Paul
hair,
Walsh.
they said, but
It's
I thought the
maternal
DNA.
DNA. His DNA is found nowhere other than on himself or his clothes.
Oh,
It's maternal DNA. Maternal DNA, there's two different types of DNA you can use. The one we have in this case, and this is why it came back negative the first time that Plevin likes to talk about, oh, the defense tries to say it wasn't DNA. It was, but the lab didn't think it was a human hair. They did the test, but they took the very unsecure maternal DNA because the maternal DNA doesn't prove both sides because we have our moms and we have our dads. If you only have one of them, it's every descendant from that person who have that DNA strain. So it's Peggy O'Keefe, it's John O'Keefe, it's Paul O'Keefe, it's the niece, and it's the nephew. All of these 5 people could have been the one who left that hair.
yeah, but there was touch DNA on the actual taillight pieces. That was his. That to me is something they keep yelling about, and it's so stupid because it's touch
Did they?
DNA. Yeah, that's what they said.
Oh, Jamie, 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 Jamie.
What? Oh, Timmy, how have you been?
Kimmy, the innocent fraud campaign has ended. Yes, no more believing that Jen McCabe is innocent. Kimmy, I knew, girl, I knew you would come to our side. I'm so glad. Welcome. So, who do you think really did it? Because I'm glad that you don't believe that McAlberts had nothing to do with it anymore. Kimmy, love and stuff. What?
Has she ever said like what her, like what her?
Well, she just says the same thing Clement says.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
But now she have learned the innocent fraud is done. So she must be coming over to our side. Thank
Yeah.
you, Kimmy. As the good book says, it's easier for a sinner to get into heaven than a rich man. Na 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 na. na. I don't know. Maybe it's a camel. I can't remember. It's something about a threading needle, I think. I don't do Bible readings. It's Jamie every Sunday, Bible on a budget. But
Oh, she says the head injury on John O'Keefe's head is from the spoiler. How is that possible? First of all, the The Commonwealth doesn't even say that. So how does Kimmy know? Man, guys.
Did I see the Grok post on X? What Grok post? Did you send me something? Hey Helene T. Guten Abend. Wie geht's dir heute?
Yeah, his Pallola's mom. His clothes did have DNA on them. They had what, 2? Was it 2 or 3? And then they said the shoe had 5 unknown DNA. I think they're just trying to, I don't think that's, I think they're just trying to prove the point that like they didn't test any of this stuff.
No.
Again, with the police who there's unknown DNA on his pants, there's unknown DNA on his shoes, and nobody was testing any of this to see if any of these people's DNA showed up on his, clothes.
Keep talking. I'm just looking for something.
Well, no, I was trying to read, see if there's
No, keep talking. I'm looking for something.
people's questions.
Oh, don't answer them.
Yeah. Yeah, the clothes did have DNA, and the spoiler, yeah, Kimmy, that's a great theory that his head injury came from the spoiler. The Commonwealth isn't
smart.
even saying that. And how does his head hit the spoiler? Make it make sense. And
I know I have the picture.
I can't even. How far was he found from the road? Was it like 30? Did they say like
8 to
30?
20 8 to 20 feet. Somewhere
8
in
to
there.
20 feet. Yeah, like 20.
You know.
Well, we had 2. I remember we had 2 different people saying. I think the one guy said like 12. Then someone said 20. So yeah. But they never took a picture or measured, so we have no idea for sure. They're just saying he's about here and could be anywhere from 20 feet from the road. So
I wish I
yeah,
could find the things I'm looking for.
yeah, the touch DNA on his taillight means nothing to me because it's his girlfriend's car. Like he's probably touched everywhere on that car.
Yeah. I bet you
inside.
right now Kimmy has touched DNA from her boyfriend on her.
Yeah.
That's not...
And then the pig DNA. See, that was the problem with all the testing is what did that lady do? She took one swab and she swabbed every hole on his shirt. She didn't even take one for each hole. So all of this evidence it's destroyed because you can't swab every hole with one cotton swab or whatever and then test it. That makes no sense.
No one clip when Jamie said took one for each hole. That would be
Whatever.
would be really bad if anyone did that.
Okay, Kimmy. John O'Keefe's injury is all on the right side. He had an injury to his right knee. Very little injuries on the sideswiped accident. In a sideswiped. Oh, Kimmy, what are you talking about?
Well, she's right. All the injuries were to his right side. None of them consistent with being hit by a car. But Kimmy doesn't. Kimmy is one of those people who starts a thought and thinks, "Oh, that sounds really smart. I'm going to open my mouth now," and doesn't really get to the other part. Because are they consistent with the scenario? Let's use good old Bender again. He has an arm injury. He has massive face injuries, a neck injury, and a slight little mark on his knee. This is, of course, because everyone knows what Kimmy just said. Because remember what she said when she came in here? She said, what hit him, Jamie?
The spoiler hit his head. That's where his head injury.
The spoiler hit his head. Okay. Let me draw you a picture.
I can't wait.
I know you like my drawings. Keep talking. I'm drawing.
Well, no, I'm just trying to read what she's saying. So now, how did the spoiler hit the back of his head, and then also all of these things that she's claiming? I'm just trying. I mean, I'm honestly trying to analyze her theory logically, and it makes no sense.
Because Kimmy is correct. John O'Keefe is standing here, getting hit in the back of the head with the spoiler on the car. While at the same time, he's not standing here, but he's standing here.
Yeah, how would it be possible for the spoiler to hit his head? Because bumpers are made to bump out, so...
No, but now he's standing here with his arm outstretched and getting sideswiped. Because, as Kimmy knows, if her first story was to be true, which it's not, but Kimmy knows that, she just heard it and over on Plevens and thought it sounded good, because she knows all the crap she came in and said during the first trial was disproven, so now she'll try something new. If John was hit in the head with the spoiler, he would have to have his legs hit first, then it'll flop that way, then his back would hit the back window, and then the spoiler would hit his head when he slammed down on it. And still, you want to tell me I'm an idiot for saying this story doesn't line up? I feel sorry that Kimmy, because she just proves that you have to be a functional retard to believe any of these stories. I'm sorry, I know I'm not allowed to say retard, but you really have to be low IQ to believe that story, that John O'Keefe was hit in the back of his head with a spoiler, because his back of his head would have to be facing the fucking spoiler. And do you know what's right under the spoiler? The rest of the fucking car. It's Sunday, and I have to deal with these numbnuts.
Wait, okay. The spoiler, okay. Kimmy. The spoiler is a match to the head injury. Dr. Welcher gas.
No, it's not.
What? Slideshow. He will explain the entire accident. Sideswipe the right side of the... Man, oh
You
man.
can't be hit
I
by a
can't wait.
spoiler in the
I'm
back of the
excited.
head while you're sideswiped.
I know, make it make sense, but
Jamie, I don't want to be
wait to
mad.
hear it.
I'm not
Don't
mad.
get mad. Laugh at it. It's comical.
Oh, she's an idiot. Sorry, I love you, Kimmy. Come back when you make a little more sense. Jamie, it's Sunday. I have to go light candles to celebrate 80 years of independence. Well, not independence. Of our kerfuffle in the second kerfuffle ending. And I have to say thank you so much to Kristen Ireland, who bought 15 corner kisses, Jamie.
Wow. 15. Chris, what's her name? Who is it? Christina?
I think it's Kristen Ireland.
Kristen? Thank you, Kristen. That's so sweet.
It wasn't today, it was the other day, but still.
Okay.
And we'll be back tomorrow with the full coverage. I have to go to a meeting, but the crew will be here anyway. So come back for more Karen Reed coverage tomorrow. Do all the things that you know we always beg you to do. And have a wonderful Sunday. Jamie, gracias por coming. Oh no.
No problem.
No problemo.
No problemo.
Jen! Misreads.
Yes.
Jen!
Get cut and dry. Pretty simple. Just pin it on the girl, right? Pretty simple. Just pin it on the girl, right?
Objection.
Pretty simple. Just pin it on the girl, right?